Hi, it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. So, I am a big fan of planning for a lot of reasons. Not over planning, not spending a ton of time in planning, but like high ROI planning, a little bit of effort for a lot of gain planning. And I found that it's really important to separate the planning from the doing because we often don't, make the best decisions in the moment. So when we separate that planning from the doing, we're able to make better decisions. However, there is a hidden benefit of planning that I want to share with you because it's something that not a lot of us really think about. And I want to share how this can really help you save a lot of time in your day in addition to all the other benefits that planning brings, right? Planning helps us save time overall on projects. It helps us to de-stress about things because we're not so anxious about what's to come. Planning helps with a lot. It helps us be realistic. But there's this hidden benefit of planning that I want to share with you. And this hidden benefit is the ability of planning to help you make room to be opportunistic. So what do I mean by this? I'm going to share two examples of what I mean here. So I do meal planning, not in a like super extensive way. Just like every weekend, I sit down for 10 minutes and I look at what's in my fridge, what's in my freezer, and what I might need to buy, and I make a plan for the week. And it's more like, hey, chicken and broccoli on Tuesday, and steak and potatoes on Thursday, or whatever, right? Tacos on Tuesday. When I do this, just because I know what's for dinner throughout the week. Well, a lot of things happen, right? One, nobody has to ask me what's for dinner because everyone knows. So that's a great benefit, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The real benefit is because I know what's for dinner, I can actually take advantage of opportunistic moments during the day. So if I know, for instance, I'm having chicken and broccoli on Tuesday, say, one, I've already added it to my task list for Monday to take the chicken out of the freezer so that it's thawed by the time I need it on Tuesday. But also, I'm able to use little pockets of time throughout the day to do a little prep work opportunistically to plan that dinner, to make that dinner. And so, for instance, I might be, making my tea in the morning and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I could chop the broccoli while the water boils for the tea, right? Chopping the broccoli takes all of 2 minutes, right? And I'm waiting for the water to boil. Great. I'll do that. I'll just leave it on the counter for later. Later in the day, I might be coming up to have lunch and maybe I'm heating some leftovers up in the microwave. That takes a couple of minutes and I'll be like, I'm going to marinate the chicken right now, right? Marinate it, put it in the fridge. Now, by the time dinner time rolls around and it's time for me to actually cook dinner, the bulk of the prep is already done and it didn't feel like work, right? Because I just did it in these little pockets throughout the day. I mean, this is also a super added benefit of working from home, right? But I was able to opportunistically just take advantage of that. If I didn't know in advance at the beginning of Tuesday that I was going to have chicken and broccoli on Tuesday, then I wouldn't have been doing any of that stuff. I would probably be opening the fridge at, 6 p.m. and saying like, oh my God, what am I going to cook for dinner? I have no idea. And then it would take me, an hour to get everything together. But because I've done this little opportunistic prep work during the day, opportunistic prep work that was available to me only because of planning, now it actually takes much less time and effort to get dinner on the table. It doesn't feel like a big lift. It doesn't feel like, this big thing I have to do after I worked all day anyways. Okay. So I'm going to give you another example of this. So planning out just your week, right? Planning out your week. This is something that I do every Friday. I plan for the week ahead. So is it going to be perfect? No, of course not. Things are going to change. But in general, I'm planning out. I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do this on this day. I'm actually putting some time blocking in my calendar to make sure I'm being realistic about what I can plan for. And so when I've planned out the week, now, sometimes things are going to change, right? Maybe a meeting will end early, right? I know this seems like a dream, but sometimes it happens. Or maybe somebody cancels a meeting and you have this time windfall, right? You have an hour of time or you have a half hour, maybe even 15 minutes. Now you have this time in your schedule. If I hadn't planned for the week, I would probably just default to doing something like email during that time, or maybe even scrolling the news or something like that. But because I've planned out the week, I'm able to opportunistically use that time to get something done that I was planning to do later in the week. So for instance, let's say it's Wednesday and I have a last minute cancellation. Maybe one of my clients gets sick or something like that. So now I have an hour on my schedule. Instead of just defaulting to email or something that's, just always going to be coming anyways, now I can say, oh, is there something that I was planning to do later in the day that I can push up, right? That I can do now, right? Or maybe is there something that I was planning to do tomorrow that I could do right now? And that frees up time later in the day or later in the week. Now, this is time I could use for a lot of different purposes. Maybe if I push up what I was planning to do later to today, maybe I actually, take off a half an hour early or something, right? Maybe I get a little extra free time for myself. Or probably more likely, I am going to pull some work that I was planning to do later in the day or that I was planning to do tomorrow. I'm going to do that today. And then that leaves more more room in the week for something else unexpected that might come up, because unexpected things do come up. And so when you have planned, you have this amazing opportunity to do this like opportunistic stuff that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Because if we don't plan for it, we're just kind of winging it with what's there. And it sometimes can feel like lost or wasted time, right? Sometimes it feels like, oh, we have a cancellation. Well, what are we going to do with that? So planning has this extra hidden benefit, and that is that it allows you to take advantage of these opportunistic moments. And I just wanted to share that because I think it is this little piece of planning that we often don't think about. And I realized I take advantage of it literally every day, and I wanted you to know about it as well. So like always, if you like getting this content in your feed every single week, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you will never miss a video.
Just like she said, make sure to subscribe. And also, only about 24% of the people that watch our videos are subscribed. So it'd be a huge help if you subscribe to the channel.